We start the noon today with details on the company behind the massive tech outages overnight across the world. CrowdStrike is apologizing for the software update that crippled airports as well as businesses. Now, at one point this morning, more than half of all U.S. flights were delayed or canceled. The CEO of the cybersecurity company said the disruption stems from a defect found in a single content update for Windows, adding that this is not a cyber attack or a security incident. However, it was such a huge impact in part because it affected Microsoft's services. Now, that outage knocked banks offline and some media outlets. Thank you for joining us. I'm Brianna Fernandez. Now, one of the biggest industries affected, air travel. Planes were grounded, services were delayed, and airports, including ours, were either at a standstill or had just a few flights making it off ground. Now, take a look at this time lapse from midnight to around 8 this morning. At first, there were many flights in the air, and then the number dropped significantly. Now, this morning, while I was at the airport, we talked to a lot of frustrated passengers, some telling me they waited for hours at the check-in counters, hoping to either get a refund or at least a flight for later today. Another issue that was affected by this outage was the flight information boards that usually tell you what gate you need to go to or if your flight is delayed or canceled. Airport officials are asking if you're flying out today, check with your airline first. Now, RTD was also impacted by the outage. Only the A, B, G, and N lines were operating. There is no D line service. There is a bus shuttle running. E, H, R, and W lines have significant delays and with limited trains running. RTD tells us they are working to resolve the issue and restore service. They say that they expect disruption to last most of the day. Now, nationwide hospitals and doctor offices also had problems with their appointment system and canceled surgeries. We've reached out to see if any local hospitals were affected, and we're still waiting to hear back. Of course, we'll bring you updates later today at 4 this afternoon with Tom and Kim. Now to some breaking news. Boulder is one of the 6 cities that could host a Sundance Film Festival starting in 2027. This is a story we first broke last month. Now, members of the Sundance Selection Committee will visit each of the final cities in the coming weeks. Sundance has been held in Utah since it started back in 1978. Now, last year's festival brought in more than $118 million to Utah's economy and then more than 21,000 out-of-state visitors. Now, in a statement, Democrat Governor Jared Polis said in part, quote, "We are confident that Boulder, Colorado is the right home for the Sundance Film Festival. I am thrilled that the Sundance Institute recognizes the potential in relocating to my hometown." Now, other cities on the final list include Atlanta, Georgia, Cincinnati, Ohio, Louisville, Kentucky, Santa Fe, New Mexico, and Park City, Utah. So we'll continue following this and bring you the updates later this afternoon at 4. Now we are taking a live look right now across Colorado. We are just hours away from the weekend, so we're taking a look from the high country to the Denver metro area, and it's looking like a great weekend to get out there and, of course, enjoy the beautiful Colorado weather. Joining me, we have 9 News meteorologist and weather impact team, Keely Chalmers. Keely, what can we expect this weekend?
Well, we certainly have cooler temperatures. That's the big story for this weekend. So, right,
good news. Very different than last.
Certainly relief from the heat, right? Temperatures are going to drop quite a bit as we head into the weekend with those temperatures getting down into the upper 70s on Sunday evening. So our normal high for this time of the year, 91 degrees. We will be quite a bit cooler as we head into the second half of the weekend. Out there right now, a little bit of a different scene than yesterday. Those clouds increasing earlier than normal for this time of the year. So we are going to see those increasing clouds. What's happening is we're getting this northwesterly flow bringing in the moisture in the form of clouds. We'll start to see those storms roll off the high country as well. We're already seeing a cold front move through the northeast corner of the state, bringing in some stronger storms up there. For the metro area, we'll top out right around 90 degrees for a high today. Again, our normal high for this time of the year is 91. So temperatures mainly in the 80s, low 90s across the plains for highs. Right now, we're looking at temperatures already in the mid 80s across the plains, looking at 70s up in the high country. Not too bad, 86 degrees out in Grand Junction. Taking a look at our live Doppler radar again, there's that cold front bringing in a line of storms across northeast Colorado. We're starting to see those lightning bolts, but also we're starting to see some storms up there near Fort Collins. As we head into the afternoon, we'll see more of that, more widespread storms. So again, the stronger storms across the east, cooler this weekend, we talked about that, and a chance for storms both days this weekend. So again, we'll talk about just how cool we can expect it to get and a warm up in our extended forecast coming up in just a bit.
Keely, thank you so much. Right now, a teen is recovering after someone shot at him at a bus stop in Aurora. Police tell us it happened just before 5:30 last night at the stop off South Sable Boulevard near East Mississippi Avenue. They say the boy was sitting when somebody in a passing car opened fire. The teenager was taken to the hospital. He is expected to be okay. Now, at this time, police aren't sharing any information on the shooter or the car involved. James Craig, the dentist accused of poisoning and killing his wife in Aurora, is facing a new charge. Prosecutors added another count of tampering with evidence. Craig now faces one charge of first-degree murder and 3 tampering charges. Those solicitation charges involve 3 different people. His next court appearance is set for Tuesday. That's a preliminary hearing to decide whether he can be tried on his additional tampering charges. Last night was the final night of the Republican National Convention as former President Donald Trump officially accepted the nomination for president. He offered a subdued message of unity at odds with his record of Trump at great length recounted the events of his attempted assassination, at one point going over to kiss the helmet of the firefighter who was killed in the shooting. Trump said the shooting is a reminder of his White House goals.
Despite such a heinous attack, we unite this evening more determined than ever. I am more determined than ever, and so are you. So is everybody on your side.
The fourth and final night of the RNC featured a show including former wrestler Hulk Hogan ripping open his shirt, to Kid Rock performing an ode to Trump, and the head of the Ultimate Fighting Championship introducing Trump. Now, this morning, President Joe Biden issued a statement pushing for party unity and saying he would be back on the campaign trail next week. This comes amid calls from many high-ranking Democrats that he step aside. This morning, the Biden-Harris campaign chief said the president plans to stay in the race in the 2024 race for president. And now, in a new memo obtained by NBC News, the campaign states that organizers talking to voters consistently found that issues like women's rights and the potential GOP agenda of Project 2025 are paramount.
Also hearing from voters, and what they're saying is, we've got you, Joe. We are in this. Stay with us. For every person that said that they are concerned, we've had another person that's seen him and have said, you are our guy and we want to be with you. We have the path forward in our pathway to get to 270. And we know that Joe Biden has to do the work to reassure the American people that he's in it to win it.
Now, during that same conversation this morning, Biden's campaign chair acknowledged, quote, slippage in support for the president. Right now, President Biden is in isolation after testing positive for COVID-19, and he plans to return to the campaign next week. Now, it's likely the most expensive purchase you will ever make is buying a house. But what happens when you're an empty nester considering downsizing? We have an expert joining me in studio with some things you should know before you make that big decision.